We live in a time where the flow of information is constant, with competing voices in crowded spaces, where old school thoughts meet new school ideas.
We are constantly having to recreate ourselves. To understand these identities, we need to decipher the culture. This is unconventional. This is Lounge Academics.
And here she is, Rach.
Hey, Kev.
What's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, I'm very well. It's good to see you. It feels like ages,
I know, it's been a long time.
It has. It's been a while since I've seen you with all COVID and pandemics and all that. And it's been very hard for people to see people. And yeah, it's great to have you here. It's great to have you on. It's been a long time coming, Rach. It's been a while still. We should have been having this conversation a long time ago,
I know, I've been dodging you.
Yeah, I know. You have been dodging me. But it's great that we're having it now. Better late than never, right? Do you get what I'm saying? And it's always in God's time and at the right timing for us to have conversations and stuff. So I feel it's the right time now to have it. What we're hoping to do, just because I know some people drift in a bit, it takes some time for people to kind of come in and engage with the conversation and stuff. So what we'll do is obviously, we're just going to have a chat. We're going to have a conversation about your work, the inspiration behind Nurture Your Purpose.
Yeah.
Why you've set it up, where you're at now. I'm very interested to find out as well, given COVID and everything that's going on, I'm interested to find out from you, just in general, how this impacts on the business that you have and your services, given that events is all about people meeting together.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it would be good to kind of find out a bit more about that as well. And obviously for people that are tuning in and that are interested in the conversation as part of the Instagram live, obviously people can come and post their questions if they have any, but obviously myself and Rachel will do our best to kind of answer and talk through. Okay, so without further ado, what we'll do is, some people are starting to come in now. What I'll do is literally the first 5 minutes is all yours to tell us a little bit about NYP, about yourself, your inspiration, and then we just have a chat about that. Hi, Mr. Unique. Good evening. Good evening. So he said evening, people, and people are coming in saying good evening. So good evening to you all. Okay, so Rach, over to you, and then we'll just have a convo based on what you say, really.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name's Rachel. I'm the founder of Nurture Your Purpose. And Nurture Your Purpose is an events company that gets creatives together to help nurture their talent. So you might be thinking, what's a creative? A creative is someone's line of work or passion or hobby that use their creative mindset to strive for something and do something. For example, they could be good at arts. They could be good at hosting. They could be good at spoken word poetry. So I create events to help create a platform to nurture themselves within the Nurture Your Purpose team. And another service that I've recently relaunched is the events management side. So if anyone has an up and coming event and they want help and guidance with the structure of it, Nurture Your Purpose is offering that full coordination for your event, depending on what package you pick, because I've got 3 packages and it has different things, but mostly covers the bronze, silver. So if you want the gold, then that's a full coordination of the event. And I've recently done 3 events, and they've all been panelist events. Kev, you would know because you hosted that one. And basically I put together, I searched for panelists to kind of talk about different things within the community. Topics were based on society, consciousness, relationship. And I think the last one was just an open one, like just free to discuss different things, how we could come together as a community and just make things better. And so as I mentioned, I had 3 events and there was various different panelists talking about having their opinion and giving their guidance on what they think is. So I had questions and they were just relating to that question. And then the audience was engaging with that, also giving their views and opinions. And how I picked the panelists was basically just off just social media really, and friends as well, because I know a lot of creatives that I have within my circle and just that I connect with on social media. So, for example, at my first event, I had a good friend of mine called Lisa Brown. She also has her own PR company, which she's trying to expand. And I also had Charmaine Lawrence. She's a mentor and a self-love coach strategy person at the moment. And I had Mr. Free Your Mind. He's just a motivational speaker. He speaks about different things, inspirational, very much inspirational, and just encouragement. Within these events as well, I also had like a spoken word artist up and coming. One goes by the name of Taz P. And the first person I had at my event was Free Spirit. So yeah, it's just encouraging people to kind of nurture themselves with a platform created by Nurture Your Purpose. And it also brings like creatives together to interact, to network, to whatever they want to do together, but within the space of nurturing your purpose. It's basically more community engagement and unity and just inspiring and encouraging one another.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. That's very detailed. Let a run through what Nurture Your Purpose is, being brought up to speed in terms of what you've done so far, who you've worked with, the kind of flavor, giving people a flavor of what to expect and the kind of events that you've been involved in. I think, you know, it's important for me to just stress here that it says, you know, Rachel says what the company does on the tin, Nurture Your Purpose. I've been very fortunate to have worked with Rachel. I hosted one of her previous events. I think it was your third event that you did that I hosted, which was really cool. And I think, you know, as it says, it's about nurturing your purpose. And what I like about your platform is how it's so organic in the way that people can get supported and to nurture their purpose. I feel there is a mentoring, kind of encouraging, coaching aspect to what you do through yourself. I think there's something about what you do that is very open to the community as well. Like you allow people to take ownership and have agency over what they're doing. So for example, my experience of you was you just like, look, man, and admittedly, right, let's be honest, you know, you took a chance because with myself as well, you were just so, I think, enrolled with my passion for what I'm doing and what I'm about that you were just like, do you know what? I need you, get involved. You seem passionate about what you're doing. And that's what I love about your approach. Because these days we're living in times of numbers, followers, who's got this, who's popping, who's doing what, who's been on what other popular platforms and whatever. And I think what I really like about you is you're willing to grow and develop and work with people at whatever stage that they're at. And that's what I really love. So I just wanted to emphasize that, and I can't highly recommend you enough because I thoroughly enjoyed hosting your event. It was really great. And it was nice to kind of be a part of such a community felt initiative. Do you know what I mean? Because it is about the community. So I'm very grateful for that and what you're doing as well. So, Rach, just tell me what, because there'll be people that are going to be listening or tuning into the podcast or tuning in right now that'll be at different stages. They're going to be at stage, people might be at the stage where they're like, okay, I'm just starting out here and I want to get into events management myself. There may be people who are also already in events management as well. So, and there'll be people at different stages, and there might be people that maybe even want to come on board and get involved in what you're doing as maybe a guest speaker, as a poet, or may want to contribute to one of your events. So I just want to speak to the different stages they'll be at, yeah? So I just want to ask you, Rach, what was the inspiration? Why did you develop NYP? Where did that come from?
So I studied business in college, and a part of that course, there was an event sector where you had to create your own event. So I was like, this sounds interesting, but long at the same time. Anyway, I got stuck in, and I'd done it alongside a friend actually, and we came up with like a talent show event. And we done really well. Like we got good grades from that. And then from that one segment of the course, I always knew that I wanted to have our own business, but I wasn't sure what in. But from doing that course, I was like, yeah, I think this is for me. I thoroughly enjoy doing that. Like, I actually want to plan it now, even though it wasn't real, but I want to plan it. And then I decided to go to university to study events management. And going to university made me think that, okay, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. Because, you know, sometimes you go to university in the first year, it's like, nah, it's not for me.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and then people drop off and that. Yeah, yeah.
I continued, even
Mm.
though within the events management, I covered loads of events from large scale to small scale. So it could be a bingo night to wedding fairs to wedding planning.
Okay. Yeah.
When I was doing that, I started to feel that, okay, this is not really what type of events I want to do. So then I graduated. I strived for it, graduated. And then when I left university, I was just thinking, okay, how am I going to get into the event sector? Because a lot of companies are saying you need experience. So I volunteered like youth clubs, putting on the events for the youth, working alongside like different organizations, organizing like peace marches, a part of the community. And then I thought, okay, I can put that on my CV. Wow. I can still apply for some jobs. They still weren't having it. I thought, okay, do you know what? I'm just going to think of something and just do it for myself. So I basically just brainstormed the sort of event I want to do and I enjoy doing. And I think from working within the community, it made me focus more on elements of the community. And then I then thought of, okay, unity, getting the people together. And then speaking to my friends, one day I was sitting down in my house and they all came over and we was just having a discussion about random things. And I thought, this could actually be an event. Like, I can actually put this event on, like, with everyone
based
there.
on the conversation that you were having. Yeah.
So then that's when I thought of, wow, like, all of my friends are quite talented in terms of like their mindset, different opinions. Like, that's where the kind of talent and purpose came from, with the unity and the community. But then the panel idea event came from discussions that I had with my friends, just talking about different things, literally. And then, yeah, I just thought to myself, do you know what? I was scared because I didn't think I had much experience in that sense, but just went for it. And I think the thing is here, if you want to do anything, you can just go for it. Like, sometimes, like, researching, it's not a lot of stuff out there to research or people that are doing the same line of work as you. But literally, I studied it, but I just put pen to paper, listened to the people around me, and just made up my mind that's what I want to do. And then that's how I came up with Nurture Your Purpose. The name itself, I got some help with my friend. She was like, what is it exactly you want to do, Rach? I was like, well, there's a lot of talented people. I want to be there for the community, and I want to do purposeful events where people can showcase themselves. She literally came up with the name. I'm not gonna lie, like, I give her credit. She came up with the name. She was like, I was like, oh my god, like, I like that, Nurture Your Purpose. So that's how it came up.
Okay, cool. So basically, it effectively came about as a result of a gap, which initially was a gap for you in terms of employment. Like, you were finding that there was a struggle to kind of get work in the industry that you're interested in, and ultimately you created your platform for yourself, you know, to build on. It's interesting because as you'll know, as someone who's obviously listened in on this as well in the past and been involved in Lounge Academics for some time, it's interesting. I'm hearing this common theme that people are having to say, like, yo, I'm knocking on the door to be an author, or I'm knocking on the door to be a host. I'm knocking on the door to do this. And people are just like, do you know what? I'm just going to have to create the space for myself. So there's a common theme that's coming out here. Is there a particular, in terms of your events, because what I think was great that you highlighted already is that you can have various different types of events, from marches, large scale outdoor activities, to networking events and stuff as well. Is there a particular, I know I'm sure you cater for a number of events, but is there a particular type of event that you're interested in at all, specializing for people, just out of interest?
Not really. I mean, I tell you what I don't specialize in, and that might just break it down.
You can tell us what you don't do. Yeah.
So, wedding planning, I've worked within that field. It's not for me. So I don't planning. Parties, in terms of just like a Saturday night when I go out for a little dance and whatnot, that's not for me.
Okay.
I can do it, but it just depends on what the purpose is of the actual event. I need
Okay.
to know what's the purpose behind your event. Is it gonna help you nurture yourself? Is it gonna bring you some exposure?
Okay.
Is it gonna help you network? Am I gonna help you develop myself? I like to bring people out of,
Okay.
so whatever they're passionate about, let me help you find that and let me create a platform for you.
So there's a real, it sounds to me what you're saying is there's a real social aim. Like you want to see people develop and
Yeah.
better themselves. So, you know, anyone can put together a party or an event with the girls on a night out or whatever. Yeah. But I guess what you're,
I
yeah.
might do it one day, but that's not the type of business I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is your brand, but what your brand is about is it's about as it says on the tin, you're nurturing people's purpose and helping them to grow as a result. And I think that's brilliant. I love that USP as a focus, you know, in terms of helping people to nurture their giftings and stuff. So in terms of because we've heard a bit about past events, how are you kind of coping? Like it's funny. Sorry, I just seen paper pages. I see Naya just made a comment. She goes, "I swear every time I come on your live, your guests talk to my needs." Yeah, it's cool, man. So yeah, yeah. So she's talking about that. So maybe pose your question, yeah, Naya or paper pages if there's anything in particular that you want us to kind of cover or talk to. Okay, but what I was gonna say, Rach, is in terms of obviously your business needs and what you're developing at the moment. We've talked about what you've done in the past. What's kind of the future in terms of launch events and stuff? What are you looking to kind of do in the future in terms of developing?
Sure. So I recently relaunched and I basically
Yeah,
changed my whole logo, my branding. I've expanded my services. So the new services, the events management side, clients can book me to help plan their event or assist with any logistics. And as COVID has hit all of us, but mostly like the events industry in terms of
trust.
events, I'm looking to do more things online. So like social discussions or just creating a platform for people that, even if it's something to do with like marketing, someone wants to market their book launch, like we can have
Sure.
a conversation, but it's gonna have to work around how we can do that online. I'm not very savvy when it comes to online stuff, but I mean I have to learn for myself and basically just put that out there. So it's a lot of online material that's coming out, just promoting my brand. And I think future aspirations for me, like God willing, next year,
Hmm.
I do want to have like a relaunching event and then continue. I've got like a couple ideas. I want to do an empowerment event, networking. I want
Yeah,
to do something for the kings, the Black Kings. I want to do
yeah,
like a
yeah.
men empowerment days because there's a lot of
Cool.
female empowerment days. So I just want to shine a spotlight on the kings as well.
Yeah,
Um,
respect for that. Yeah.
with them. I also want to do something to do with charity work. I'm not sure what, but I've been looking, but I want to do something with nurturing like a charity, which is quite underground. Like they're trying to come up, but at the
Oh,
moment,
so they're under the radar and need more exposure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Cool.
I'm trying to help them kind of like expose themselves through an event. But that's more within the summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And I just wanted to check in because I could see Naya is already lighting up our chat feed. She's just like, yeah, I'm gonna reach out to you. I need to pick your brain and speak to you.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
she did raise a question as well, actually, because she's saying that she's thinking, you may have seen it yourself. She's talking about she wants to launch an event herself, yeah. Um, but as I know you're talking about events and stuff, so I thought in terms of anchoring the conversation this evening that we could talk a bit more about how that could work during COVID, given the current pandemic and what's happening at the moment. So, um, what would be your advice? Because I know there's been people that have also, I'll be honest, they've approached me or they've spoken to me about coming to their event or getting involved in their event. And this is a physical meetup, yeah? This isn't online. This is a physical meetup. What advice would you give to people that are looking to launch, like whether it's a book launch or they're looking to do some kind of an intimate launch which involves people in physical meetups? I know you're saying that you are looking at online at the moment, maybe because of the restrictions, but what advice would you give to people that are seeking to do that?
I think it depends on the capacity. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but right now you only can have about 30 people in a venue, even though I've seen more.
Okay. No, I
You can,
didn't know that.
yeah, so 30 people in a venue. So it depends on the capacity for one. I think that just from that kind of just goes to tell like what you're going to do, like how it's going to go forward basically. So if you do have 30 people, and it depends on the venue as well, because some people might
Sure.
be lenient. So I mean, write everything down, I would say, because numbers are limited these days.
Yeah.
And once you have like your brainstorm, like the numbers, what you want to do, does it require like a DJ, does it require catering, all of that ideas, which I can also
Yeah.
support with, then I mean, going forward, that's basically something we can discuss. However, if it's not feasible this year, we can plan to make it bigger and better next year, or just make it go. It depends what you're doing, because you can do
Yeah.
something online, like a lead up to the actual event. So it's a
Yeah.
conversation I'll have to see what's the numbers like, what's the plans, what do you want involved in the actual event, where do you want it to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. But I would say just brainstorm everything, and then once you have that brainstorm,
Okay.
you can have a conversation and see where to go from there.
So what I'm getting from you is initially people need to record what they want and what the kind of desires are for their event through brainstorming their ideas,
Yeah,
detailing, number, the type of activities, things they're expecting to kind of do as part of the event, including DJs, all those other stuff, those add-on bits that might um, factor into the event itself. And then once you kind of had that, you can sit down and have a conversation with them and kind of look about how that's going to work as part of a consultation. I
exactly.
can see there's a number of questions ringing through as we're talking. So what I'll say so far as well, just to say for those of you that have just joined, because I know some people have jumped on since the beginning of the convo, which has been about 20 minutes now still. My advice, what I'd say to you all is that we're talking about kind of management, event management in particular during COVID. So Rach is a specialist. She's an expert in event management and coordination, has done so for a number of years. She has a company, Nurture Your Purpose. So we're really looking at the conversation around event management during COVID and the current thing now. So if there's other people you feel that would benefit from this, please share, and bring other people a part of the conversation if people are worried about this in particular. If you have particular questions that you may want to shoot at Rachel and myself, and obviously we'll try to speak about them. So I know Paper Pages asked a question previously that just went up about, I think it was about capacity. So does venue size determine kind of like the capacity? Is that the rule change? So you said venues having 30 people. Is that the maximum cutoff now? Is it just saying like it's 30 people
Well, I
for
think
public gatherings? Yeah.
it depends on the actual venue, because
Hmm.
I've seen both. I've seen events happen quite large scale, like how it used to be when life was quite normal.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've also seen quite intimate events happening. So it depends on the venue. And I've seen another question from who's that? Paper Pages, yeah. How
Yeah.
about streaming events? You could. That's another thing I was going to come to as well. So even if say you pick a venue and they say, okay, well, maximum 30 people, you can live stream the event. I've actually been to a function and they've live streamed it, and so people can just lock on and just listen. But the only thing is, you're just going to have to, if there's comments coming through, it's someone that's going to have to manage the comments and etc. But live streaming is another way that you can interact with people that's not at the event.
Okay. So what you're saying, you're talking about a scenario where you can have an intimate gathering of 30 people there in a space, in addition to live streaming that event as well. So
Right.
other people on a wider scale can tune in. Okay. Okay. Is that something you'd be interested in? Do you know what I mean? Is that something you would explore in terms of like as an advice or recommendation to people that are looking to kind of do their events? Would you talk about maybe doing small, intimate, but maybe add a live stream to that?
Again, it depends on if it's your first event, because I mean, if it's your first event, depending on what it is, you'll probably necessarily want everyone to be in the same environment because it's your first time. You want everyone to be there physically. It depends on what the event is again. If it's, I mean, to be honest, if it's like a book launch, sometimes I've been to a book launch before, it's quite intimate. So,
Yeah.
you know, it really depends on what you want to get from your event. That's where that comes into factor. But I think live streaming it's a good way to kind of just put yourself out there and just people get to know you and your brand. But if you want people to be kind of networking and getting to know one another, it's probably best that they come to the actual event. But it just really depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Okay. Also, Lisa's just come in with a message. Hey, Lisa. I hope you're doing well, girl. It's been a while. So Lisa's come in. Also, if you're smart, if those 30 people pay 10 to get in, 30 people pay 10 to get in, you give them an incentive for coming, a goodie bag, food or whatever, and that could probably cover your costs of your venue, and you still live streaming it. Okay, so Lisa's just giving some tips around incentives for people as well to kind of get in, and giving a goodie bag in exchange for that. So obviously you can get your income in, yeah, as part of that process. So thanks for that tip there, Lisa. But also, and Paper Page, obviously Naya's just recommended that as well. She's kind of on board with that and thinks that's a great idea and a great tip as part of that process as well. So in terms of the actual live stream, so for events, because I know at the moment a lot of people are doing like these Zoom calls, yeah? So a lot of people have been using Zoom and other things to kind of do their events online, but it hasn't actually been like you're describing it. It's not like an event that, you know, is basically a meetup along with it being streamed. Yeah. So those Zoom events are often like a webinar or conversations with talking heads, a bit like what we're doing now, basically. So what's the kind of software stuff? What are people using to live stream their events? Where there are more than 10 people gathered?
What I've seen is Instagram Live, and and there's another one, I can't remember what it's called now. There was one that I was literally locked into like every day on when lockdown was there, just partying. Okay. But I can't remember. Yeah, no, everyone was on there and it was literally showed different camera literally all the time. And my friend just said, Nikki needs to be set up like a, that one as well. But for now, I think a lot of people do use like Instagram. I could find out the other name of the other if people are interested. And then take it from there. But the most popular one is Instagram. I think that's just the easiest. Facebook as well, if you have Facebook. But yeah, all I know of is like Instagram, the one that I've put the name to, and Facebook. Zoom is more for the meeting webinar. It's not really for live streaming per se.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the live stream, so you're thinking that using existing live streaming platforms like Facebook and Instagram Live, like we're doing now, to kind of stream.
You can also kind of get exposure, like people can connect with you, because it depends if your page is public as well, so people can just join. Do you know what I mean? So
from anywhere.
So that's a good way of connecting with people. Depends who it is or what you're trying to get into.
Yeah, definitely. So I think your friend Nick's kind of come on again. She says it's true. You have your discussions and we'll have the live at the same time. You want production to be on point. I have, you know what? I've got a second that, because sometimes I've seen some events, that I've been to and stuff. Well, I've participated in actual meetups as well as being there as part of a live stream. And I have to say, some people have dropped off, boy, it's been whack. I'm not even gonna lie. Like some of the quality, like the angling and whatever, they haven't really worked through that. And I think that can really damage your brand. Especially if you're doing events and stuff. Just something I want to put out there and say. So I definitely second the production point on that scale as well. I wondered, for people that are just joined, like I said, we're having a conversation around event management during COVID. Rach specializes in nurturing people's purpose and event management through her company. If you've got any questions, throw them up, please, and we'll deal with them as we're having the conversation. But Rach, are there any particular points that you have that you feel like you wanna, for people that maybe are looking to plan events anytime soon? Is there any gems, anything you'd like to share right now for those people that are considering putting an event together? Anything that you haven't already said?
I think just going back to the pen and paper, I'm such a pen and paper girl. I'm so old school, but literally write down what you want from that event. Like, why are you doing the event? What do you want from it? Like, what is it gonna incorporate? What's the requirements for that event? And I think once you kind of figure out why you're doing it and what needs to happen within the event, I think it will come to you. And it depends on how long it's going to take to organize, because normally when I do my events, I plan 3 months prior to the event, which is minimum for
Standard. Yeah.
minimum. If you're doing a more large scale event, like in terms of outdoor, then that takes up to a year. Depends.
Yeah.
So it depends as well. Think of the timeline, when you would want to do it by. Is everything that you want to do feasible to meet that deadline and the timeline you want to do your event? But first things first, I would say, and it's what I do, I literally think of what event I want to do, write everything down, and just look at it. Like, be realistic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of people that are listening to you and tuned in, because as we've already seen, there's already been engagement around the events that you do, that you've been involved in. People are already keen to pick your brain. So what can people expect? So coming to Nurture Your Purpose, if we're coming to get an event, I want an event done, I want it done with Nurture Your Purpose. What can I expect from yourself and from the company in terms of the service?
Do you mean a collaboration or someone hiring?
Oh, yeah, just on the whichever eventuality. So if I've got an event and I want to put an event on, I've tuned in, I'm listening to Kevin, I'm listening to Rachel, they're talking about events and COVID. I'm kind of feeling what Rachel's saying. I'm feeling what she's saying in terms of the events and live streaming. I'm now thinking of live streaming event, waiting to do my launch. What's the next steps and what can people expect from you if they're thinking of going down that road?
Yeah, so you can, from myself, you can expect my full attention. Firstly, I like to understand what people want for themselves as well as the event. I think for me, it's very important to know why you're doing it and what you want to get from it, because where Nurture Your Purpose stands is all about nurturing talent and having a passion and bringing the unity within the community. So
yeah, I like that.
I'm not necessarily saying that you have to tick all them boxes of Nurture Your Purpose, but something has to connect with NYP. And yeah, so I'm not a coach, I'm not a mentor, but I hope to expand Nurture Your Purpose in the future with that aspect.
Okay.
Now you can expect my full attention, my guidance to the best of my knowledge, my good communication. And I mean, I can help where I can. I'm a type of person that goes above and beyond. Even if you say to me, like, I'm not sure if I want green or white, I'll get green and white. So I'm just so I'm just like that.
Yeah.
So I'm passionate about what I do and helping people bring out their talents and their passion, because I know how it is sometimes when you don't have that drive, or you feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough to do that, or I need some guidance. And I mean, having someone in your corner could definitely help push that and just be that person. So I'm like,
so what I'm hearing from you, really, people coming on board that are locking in and want to get some tips. Obviously, there's a what I can hear is a thorough consultation in terms of finding out what people's needs are, what they want. It would be good for them to write that down in advance. That would help. And then they can bring that to the conversation that you have as part of the consultation. Once people have kind of communicated what they want and what they need and the kind of services that you offer and stuff. What's the next stages of that? Are you holding their hand and supporting them throughout each stage? Do you
Yeah.
get staff involved? Do you get volunteers to help? What kind of can you also offer
So
and support as part of the actual service?
it depends on the package you pick. So I've got a bronze, silver, and gold.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, tell us about the packages. So what does a bronze package look like?
The
Yeah.
bronze package is basically the foundation for the preparation of your event. So that would include if 5 venues, I have a list of venues, and if you are struggling to look for venues, I can let you know 5 venues. Then
Okay.
the next stage of that is vendors. So again, I have a list of vendors. If you want vendors, I can apply with that. A checklist to help you prepare for your event. So are you on track? Are you on schedule? So I can create that template and
Also like a project timeline, like a timeline for your event.
it's
Yeah.
basically the preparation for your event. That's in the bronze package. The silver
Okay.
package is the same, plus it involves actually securing the event for you. So I would call the event, I would make sure that it's booked, send you over the confirmation, securing the vendors again, just making sure that everything's patterned, like secure, done and dusted
Yeah. Yeah.
with the confirmation. Then the gold event is everything in the bronze and silver, plus the full coordination of the day. So I will be your event manager for the day of your event, making sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so bronze package really is helping people to plan. And at that stage, from a bronze thing, from that package, people can just plan their event and go off and do their thing if they want to. Yeah,
Yeah.
based on that. So that's the most basic, that's the basic package. And then the silver package, really, you're looking at coordinating in the sense of being a point of contact to make those things happen, for securing certain things. So in a sense, you're kind of helping to assist
Yeah.
with the building of the event. And then the full package, obviously, ideally, which is the gold, will be for people to for you from start to finish. You're coordinating up until managing the actual event itself on the day or whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, brilliant, cool. No, that makes absolute sense. That's perfect. And I guess how can people how can people get hold of you? What's the best way for people to make that intention known and to connect with you?
Sure. So my Instagram, well, my business Instagram is NYP_events, and Twitter is the same, and Facebook is the same, but I think best is Instagram. However, you can contact me via email, which is info@nurtureyourpurpose.co.uk.
Okay, cool, cool. And people obviously can get a hold of you and make contact that way, which is
Yeah.
brilliant. So if you
Another thing I
oh
forgot to
yeah,
mention, sorry, a
sure.
part of the gold package as well, you also get support. So I've got a team that can support with the actual event. So for example, if you need a front of the house, I have a team member that can help with that. If you need a videographer, which
Oh, okay.
it's a part of the package, but it depends on how many videographers you need or photographers.
Yeah,
Additional
yeah.
fee. It depends. We can talk about that when it comes to it.
Sure. So the gold package basically details the opportunity for people to get the full, length and breadth of an event where you can obviously work with other kind of independent specialists or services as part of that. If there is a little specialist thing that they want or a bespoke thing, like a videographer or whatever, you're able to kind of support as part of that package. No, that makes absolute sense. That makes perfect sense that people can reach out and do that. So tell me something, Rach. Kind of final thoughts in terms of tips that you want to give. If there was something that you wanted to leave as an imparting kind of gift or pearls or words of wisdom regarding those thinking about going for their event. I know you've emphasized already to write down your ideas, write down what you want, how you want that event to develop, but what advice would you give people right now? Really, because I think this COVID thing has caused anxiety, a lot of anxiety for people about whether to do an event because there's fear of people turning up to the event or fear of people not coming out because of the whole safety thing. And there's even people fearful about attending events. So what what would your advice be, given on what you've seen politically? Because you're in the industry, you know what's happening. What advice would you give people for attending or wanting to put on their events right now?
Um, do you know what? It's funny you ask that question because I actually wanted to put an event this year as well, and I was like, am I forcing it? Am I not? Is it a time for me to kind of like just brainstorm more ideas and expand my brand? But
Yeah,
I think if you are quite hesitant because of COVID, I think you should actually just spend time on your brand or your business or your event and just
yeah,
think of more things to elevate it to the next step.
sure.
If you're not hesitant and you're ready to do your event, you're ready to go, just make sure whatever event you are planning to do with the COVID guidelines, make sure they match up, because you don't want to get to the venue and, for example, you probably would already have checked this, but they say, oh well, we can't have caterers, but they never told you that.
Okay.
So you have to make sure the guidelines of the venue and your event is matching up. But I mean, apart
Yeah,
from that, I think whoever plans to do an event in this time, I mean, it's really brave, and not even in a way that I'm trying to put anyone off, but I think it's very it's just the strength to put it on at this time, because it might
yeah,
not turn out expected how you
yeah,
want it to be in terms of
yeah,
like numbers or people attending to be part of the actual event, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
So I think just think about it in terms of, okay, well, do you know what, I don't want to rush to do it right now. I can elevate to another level next year, or I actually want to do it now. I'm working towards a deadline. That's fine, but just think about how the guidelines are gonna work
yeah,
with the actual event.
definitely. Hey Jade, by the way, he's just coming in, saying hey y'all with a heart. Hi, how you doing? Um, no, definitely. I think, yeah, I totally take on board what you're saying. I think it is a brave move right now, and I know some people that have already gone on and actually put on events and done stuff with mixed responses, to be fair, based on doing that. But I think it is a brave time right now to be doing that. But I do like what you're saying. I think what I'm pulling out from what you're saying really is, one, check that what your expectations are for the event matches what's going on in the world in terms of the guidelines and health and safety. Because you may say you want doves to be flying throughout the venue and whatever, but they may not be able to cater for that. Real talk, given what's happening, because animals could carry COVID. You understand? So, keeping serious about this, it's important that whatever wishes you have, and I think what you're saying is very important about writing down what you want and making sure that that matches up with the expectations, one, of the venue. So there's a couple things you need to satisfy. Is what the venue's prepared to do during this time as well.
Right.
There's what your expectations are, and then there is what government guidelines are, which seems to be changing like the wind. Because one minute Boris wants us to stay at home, he wants
Exactly.
us to come out, he wants us to go back home.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So
Mhm.
at the end of the day, I think it's important that we obviously clock and that we're aware of what the expectations are of the venue,
Yeah.
as well as our wishes and
And
stuff.
time
Yeah,
as well, because a lot of venues are kind of closing early. So it depends on what's the time frame of your event. Do you want it to go on late? And that's the thing. If you want it
yeah,
to, you're doing a day event, but then you want an after party, bearing in mind that things are shutting down early, you might have to
yeah,
actually um, make your event finish earlier than expected. So the
yeah.
timing as well. So double check with the venue the times that they're available, and that you can have the event until, because that's important.
Yeah. Okay, that's important. So thinking about the timescales and the length of time and the duration of the
Yeah,
event that you're expecting
because that
and
will
what,
also
yeah,
impact on your agenda. So your running order for the day. So you
yeah,
might need to scale back of having I don't know, like 3 people perform. Like, do you know what I mean? So it depends
yeah, sure.
as
Yeah,
well. So have all of
yeah,
that in mind.
yeah. So tell me something. So what they, just out of interest, have you heard anything in regards to food at all with regards to venues and what they're saying right now in terms of catering at venues? Are some people saying like they're not having any catering or anything like that?
Yeah, I
Has
mean,
that been, yeah.
again, I've heard both. Like people have had caterers, and that was the large scale event actually, the large scale
Okay.
tragedy. And then there's been a more intimate event and they haven't had caterers. So again, it's the venue. You have to really look for that venue, and in terms of like what they're saying, because everyone rules is different. No one follow Boris Johnson. Like no one follows.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course, we know that. Yeah, totally, totally. And I think also just something for people to be aware of as well. I think connecting with Rach as well, what Rach is kind of what I've picked up on from this conversation alone, is that also, you know, think you may be wanting to do your event, you may have an event in mind, but think of ways in which you can maybe still build and make an impact that may not have to be a physical event. So think of ways, you know, for example, if you're doing a book launch or something, is there ways in which maybe you can build anticipation of your book that you're going to release instead of doing it as an event? Maybe there could be a series of activities that's done online, you know, that you could do to build up traction or awareness around your book that you're looking to kind of promote or to launch. So whether that's through, you were talking, Rachel, about the live streams, whether that's Zoom, whether that's doing live streaming generally around certain activities. Me, Rach?
Yeah, what happened to you, Kev?
I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, I saw you was all good. I saw you all looking like Kevin's gone. But no, I'm back. So yeah, I'm here.
I was like, it's not me.
No, definitely I'm here. So I was just saying, for people that are wanting to do events and stuff, I know for us with Lounge Academics, we kind of host conversations. That's something that we like to do. We're all about, you know, kind of changing the world through conversation, as you're seeing through this conversation right now. But obviously, something we did, we started off having physical events and meetups as well. And obviously, this was before COVID and all of that. We realized we got to maximize our traction. So we did things like our podcasts or our online conversation, which is also a cool way of people getting to know about you in different ways and engaging with your brand and with your content and what you're about. So I just wanted to put that out there, basically. Just wanted to highlight that, as that's other ways that people can be getting assistance or could be getting helped during this period. Yeah, but definitely
building up your network base, like just like interacting with people. It can be like businesses, it can be just like, you know what I mean, just build it up. So when that time comes to kind of execute, then you've got the contacts and people around you that can help, or do you know what I mean?
Definitely, no, without a doubt, definitely. So you know, any final points right now, Rach, before we kind of close? I feel people have been enjoying the conversation. I'm seeing thumbs up. I'm seeing hearts, emojis.
Thanks,
people have been feeling the conversation, loving what we've been saying. You know, the time goes so quickly.
I know.
Do you understand? It goes quick, boy. So I just want to say it's been an absolute, like, it's just been a blessing to have you. Like I said, it's been a long time coming, man. And I can't endorse and recommend Rach enough. Like, you know, like I said, me being one of those people that has actually come through the service and has been supported through my hosting and my conversations and stuff, and being able to facilitate that and being supported by you to do that. So I'm grateful. Nice said, you know, this was a great convo. My notepad is full. Respect for that. So, and we always tell you to bring your pads, you know, because we bring them teachable moments. You understand?
No,
yeah,
but no, thanks for having me, Kev. But I would say one last thing. It's a bit tricky, but I do literally think everyone has a purpose. Like literally, I feel like even if you don't know it yet, or you feel like you're good at something and you've got blockers in your head, go for it. Like literally just go for it, because everyone is talented to some extent. Everyone has a purpose, and I can help you bring it out through event or just through some guidance. But I mean, just try and use people around you as well. Like say, hey Kev, like I think I want to do this or whatever. Have a conversation with your friend, family, whatever, and see what they think, and then branch out sort of thing. I'm not saying you have to always listen to them, but if you really feel like you can't stop thinking about what this is it on your mind every day, just go for it. Like,
Definitely.
that's what I done. And then eventually as well, I think it's good to get a mentor, like a coach mentor. That's what I done to help you kind of structure what you want to do, because sometimes you have the ideas in your head, but you don't know how to kind of make it come to life, or make it make sense in terms of like the content, or how to let people know what your business is. So talking to people and just don't have blockers in your head. I know like we live in a world that's just like quite doubting and stuff, but just go for it.
Definitely. No, thanks for that. And I strongly advise that you connect with Rach. If you're already not doing so, do connect with her. If you're thinking of putting on an event or need some of those event management services, do reach out to her and Nurture Your Purpose, and connect with her on those platforms. Obviously, for those of you that are new to Lounge Academics as well, as part of this conversation, where have you been? You should have been here ages ago. Obviously, it's all good to have you join us. We're all about providing teachable moments and helping people to kind of thrive, yeah? So we see ourselves as a learning platform. We have fun, we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we do want people to learn something, you understand? If obviously each conversation we have, someone's able to get something that can help them to build their business, build their platform, build their goal, learn something, by all means, that's what this is about. So I see our platform very much as a learning kind of design studio that's designing learning experiences for people. So do follow us. We've been doing the 5 Minutes to Disrupt series now for a couple of months. Actually, we've gone on for quite a while each week, and we've had each week we've had different people on speaking to a different aspect of their business. So we tend to be very much about business conversations, because we're grown folk. Like, we can leave them banterish things for everyone else, but we like to have little big grown-up conversations about business and helping, and we hope that you'd enjoy the journey as well. So do tune in to us, follow us if you already ain't doing so. We've got a backlog of stuff in terms of our podcast as well, so you can find us at Lounge Academics on most platforms as well, and we're on YouTube as well. We've had some cool conversations with previous guests as well. But when we come out of this COVID thing, hopefully we're going to be able to return back to the safety of doing our video conversations and interviews, you know. But until then, it's a live stream thing and podcast right now. So thank you for joining us. But but Rach, finally, just leave your details for anybody that's just joined and may want to connect with you. If you could just leave your contact details again in closing.
Will do.
And that would be great, you know. So what Rach is going to do, she's going to put up and type up basically how you can holler at her if you need to, via her website or email address, or to connect with her via socials. But yeah, is there anyone from the audience? Are there any final questions? Anything that people had that they wanted to put to us or put to Rach at all that we hadn't covered, or anything very quickly? If not, then I would strongly urge you to connect with Rach, follow her platform, follow us, connect with us, keep it positive, keep it good. And Rach, have you done typing your stuff up?
I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Okay, cool. I had to check because I was just seeing the ceiling, boy. I could see it's good. So it's all good. But no, Rach, once again, thank you for joining us for the conversation this evening. It weren't too bad. I hope you enjoyed it.
Not bad, Kev, but thanks for having me.
Bad. No problem.
Thanks for having me.
No, definitely.
Listening and looking on. I hope to hear from some of you guys soon.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, respect. Thank you all. It's been emotional. It's been great. Rachel, you've been brilliant as always. And until next week, we will connect again, yeah? Take care, Rach. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.